Hello, still February, Black History Month. This is Brandan from Be Loves the Love in another car chronicles because I am yet again sitting in my car waiting for my son to get done with soccer practice. I hope y'all are doing okay. I hope you're reading like you want to read. I hope that the books that you're reading are actually satisfying. I have actually had some good reads lately. I think the last video I had finished that Mafia series. Was considering rereading another Mafia series. This one would have been a Black Mafia. I've pivoted a little bit. I did not immediately start the book that I wrote it down in the description of the other book. Still can't remember what it is, with the Black astronaut, a Black couple, one of which is a Black astronaut. I got caught up in Instagram. It catches me every time with reading like samples of books. Actually, no, this wasn't an Instagram thing. This was me finishing a book and then reading some summaries of other books that kind of pop up. Like when well, at least for the Kindle app, I'll say. When you're reading a book, they will often give you recommendations of other books by the author, and then they'll give you recommendations that are books that are similar in theme to what the book was that you were reading. And I was reading a summary of one, and then I was like, oh, I'll get this one. But then it was book 2. And it's a novella, so it's not like it was going to take me a lot of time to read. So I was like, well, let me go and see what book 1 was. And then I started reading book 1, and I was like, oh, I should probably get book 1. And so I ended up buying book 1 and book 2. Both are like novella length, so about 125 pages or so. I started 1. It's been a challenge for me to read it, only because for this particular book, again, I'm horrible at names. I will add it to the description if I remember. This book is about a couple who have divorced. They are heading to a wedding because the brother of her ex-husband, I think it's the brother. Again, I'm still in the first chapter, so I'm trying to remember. The brother of her ex-husband is getting married to her sister. So they are both obviously going to the wedding, and she is her sister's maid of honor. And the brother, her ex-husband, is the brother's best man. So obviously they're going to be there. The main female character is also a photographer, a very well-known photographer. So she's doing the wedding pictures. And from what I can gather, she knew the ex-husband was going to be there. She thought she was going to have more time to prepare herself in her mind for being around him. And where I am right now in the book is he has upgraded her seat. They're on the same plane. So they're on the same flight to the destination. And he has upgraded her ticket to where she had purchased a business class seat. He upgraded her to first. And they're now sitting next to each other. So she went from thinking she was going to have a bit more time to get her mind right, to make sure she looked extra fly because she was about to see her ex-husband again, to running through the airport trying to avoid him when she sees him, hoping that they're not on the same flight. If they are, that they're not sitting next to each other. So then getting on the flight, finding out she got upgraded to sitting right next to him. So I am one of those readers to where I get secondhand embarrassment. Even in real life, I get secondhand embarrassment. And so now I'm trying to make myself keep reading, and not because I'm embarrassed on her behalf. And I'm so embarrassed on her behalf that I'm having troubles reading the book because I'm scared she's going to say something stupid or do something silly and then embarrass herself in front of this man that she was trying to make sure that she was so careful around. And so I just have to get over that angst. So I have been stuck on this first chapter. I just started it yesterday. So for not very long, but I'm trying to push myself to get out of this chapter so I can get into the meat of the book. Again, it's not very long, so it's not like they're going to be in this angst forever. I got to make myself move. So I'm going to work on that today, hopefully, if I get a chance to. I was going to read some while I'm in the car. scrolling Instagram. It is post Super Bowl, and so I have gotten into the vortex of watching all of the videos, all of the memes, all of the think pieces about Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance. I mean, I don't care. I enjoyed it, and I really don't care what other people think. It's just I find it curious, the people who loved it versus the people who really didn't love it. And I think you can tell the demographic of those that did not. Anywho, so yes, I've been in that spiral for way too long. I've got to get better about my scrolling. I haven't been doing a lot of doom scrolling, but it's been more just mindless scrolling, which isn't any better. And I've noticed that I'm doing it a lot more during the day. Like when I should be working and focusing on other things, I am just mindlessly scrolling. So I think I'm gonna have to move my phone into another room, or I'm just gonna have to put some limits on it somehow. The only reason why it wouldn't work for me to move it to another room is that I use my phone to listen to podcasts while I work. So that's the only negative. I'd have to figure out, I just have to make myself not do it, or give myself a time limit. Like, you have to work for 55 minutes, and the last 5 minutes of any hour you can do some scrolling, because otherwise I look up and I'm like, oh my God, I've been scrolling for 30 minutes and I was supposed to be working on this project. So not ideal, not smart. So anywho, I should finish those novellas this week. And I'm trying to think of what that brings my February reading to. Maybe those would be books 3 and 4, or they might be 2 and 3. I think they're 2 and 3. And the other problem that I'm having is that, I won't say problem, I have been on the reading apps, and you've probably seen them if you do anything on Instagram or Facebook, where you get these apps and they have books that you can either purchase and read. They're like, they're not web series. I don't know exactly what it's called, but the app that I like the most often, because you don't have to pay, is called Galatea, and you just have to read consistently. And the more consistently you read, the more points that you get. And then you can either use those points to buy chapters so you can read ahead, or you have to wait a certain amount of time before the chapters will become available. For the books that I happen to be reading, I just have to wait 5 or 6 hours in between reading to get the next, like, free in quotes, chapter, or I can use points and kind of re-up. I just wait. I'm not paying, so I will wait the 6 hours, read a chapter in the morning, read one midday, and then maybe have enough time to read one in the evening. But yeah, so that's another thing that's been taking my time, that has also been taken away from me reading my books, because I've actually found some pretty decent, again, I don't know what the category is, but I found some pretty decent books that I'm enjoying. So hope your February is going well. Hope your reading, again, is going well. If you have not gotten into your rhythm again, if you're just having a rough time, I completely understand. Maybe consider changing genres. Maybe if you're like me and you're consistently romance, maybe you need to read an autobiography, or do something science fiction that has no romance in it whatsoever. I hear a lot of people talking about the book James, and also I think it's King, the other book. I know I've heard a lot about, is it James? Pretty sure it's James. I'm pretty sure it's King. But so there's other books out there. Maybe you just need to move away from what you're currently in to find something to kind of do a reset. So good luck. I'll talk to you next practice. Take care.